Let's say you've got this awesome B-roll for an action scene that you're trying to get down just right, and you're in the editing process and you realize that the shot that you took, either because of the gimbal or whatever, takes the character who is technically the one we're supposed to be focused on. We'll call him Hero Man. And other than the colors, nothing makes him stand out from not the Hero Man. And in fact, he leaves the scene, the camera continues to focus. So how do you fix that? What if there was a way, using DaVinci Resolve Studio, that you could make sure the camera continued to follow Hero Man while staying stabilized all the way through to the end, so that there was no doubt who this story was about? That, my friends, is something that is available with two features called Smart Reframe and Stabilize in DaVinci Resolve. Check this out. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find your image, obviously bring it into a new project. And I am using Studio, and I'm not sure which of these are available in the free version, but basically you drag and drop it in. This is so much easier than you would think. And you'll notice here's the actual scene. And if we do a playthrough, there's this guy skiing who would have made a good hero too if we were doing that, but it's too short. I wanted him in more. So the first thing that I did was I wanted to make sure that we had him in frame. So I zoom. And when we set the zoom, we can see exactly the characters that we want to follow. We know we've got not Hero Man over here, we've got Hero Man over here. The next thing that you want to do is come over to color, and then go to this little guy here, okay? And Stabilize allows you to take any camera shakes that are already in there, and it's almost like adding a gimbal. Now, fortunately, this scene was done, I'm assuming it was done via a drone, so it's pretty stable anyway, but this doesn't hurt. So you hit Stabilize, it'll analyze the clip itself, and then very quickly it'll add stabilization and show you how stabilized it is. It's pretty darn good at what it does, and so that's all you really need to do in here. Now, could you go in and change things up a little bit more? Absolutely. There's a lot that you could do, but this is a very introductory video, so we're not going to cover that. So at that point, what we'll do is we'll go right back to cut, and then you go into this feature right here, Smart Reframe. So we know we don't want to follow this guy. We want to follow this guy. So just by adding the stabilizing in here, it makes the whole thing go a little more smoothly. It's not as choppy as it was before. It's still following both characters, but you'll notice the camera tends to pan up toward not Hero Guy, and Hero Guy goes off the scene. And we don't want to do that. We want to follow Hero Guy all the way through the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a frame that has both the characters in. I like to do this a couple of times. So you start at the beginning. Now, Smart Reframe, if it's obvious who your subject is, you can hit Auto, and it'll follow the person that it thinks it's supposed to. We don't want to do that. We want to go Reference Point, and then grab this little box. Now this box can be resized, but this is the guy that we want to follow. So I'm putting the reference right on there, okay? And then at that point, you simply click Reframe. It'll take a couple of seconds, but then it will reframe our guy. So you'll notice it automatically put him right in the middle of the picture. So if I hit play, what should happen is it should follow him all the way through. It keeps him in focus because that's who we want in frame. That's where we want it framed. Now you'll notice the position, the X and Y axis, are constantly changing because the camera is now following him instead of following that main thing. The blur is there naturally, and there you go. So what was kind of hard to follow is now very simple. This guy who the camera wanted to stay on, not Hero Guy here, is just completely not even something we worry about. There's a lot more touch-up that you can do. You can obviously add music, sound effects, whatever, but for an introduction to an action shot, if this is the character we're trying to introduce, Smart Reframe and Stabilize is the best combination to do that. I hope you found this little tutorial helpful.